What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here. Aqua Life, baby. You already know how it is. So for today's video, I wanted to bring you guys my max rarity Aqua Force deck profile. There are things I do want to explain. As far as certain things going along, with the deck, and obviously making references to what we'll probably get in Glorious Justice. But a lot of things in the deck really haven't changed, and they aren't going to change much, besides a few tweaks here and there. Obviously, we're working with a limited card pool, and we've pretty much figured out everything with the deck. The only thing you really have to do with the deck now really is, adjust your build for probably your meta, clean up your defensive decisions, clean up your attack patterns. And there's some new things that I discovered, but I'll talk about that in other videos. But let's get on with the deck profile. All right, guys. So obviously we got Eric as a starter. We got our 4 heals. Six draw, 4 front, 2 crit. Pretty much this lineup changes here and there. I just like this lineup. The crit triggers is there for your opponent, recognizing, hey, he's actually playing crit triggers. It kind of makes them second guess no guarding Maelstrom on the second swing. And but Maelstrom, from what I found, I usually really wants front triggers, at least, especially when the opponents have 4 to 5 damage. You definitely want to hit them fronts to get in that pressure, because a lot of times you go for a lot of raw damage in this deck. And the 6 draw triggers is not because I want to draw more, but it's that I wanted to have more defensive trigger options, so that when something hits the damage zone, it's more likely than not a defensive trigger, so that I could, reap the benefit of a draw and getting extra shield to hand. But, the draws are good, even when you do hit them offensively, and they're good for, like chucking the otter for Maelstrom's, restand ability. Moving on to grade 1s. 4 Penguin, obviously staple. 4 Influent Dagger, and 4 Theo. I like the, Penguin Dagger is really good. I don't know what his place is going to look like in Glorious Justice, because I know that we're going to have to replace something for Nicholas, but Dagger is decent as an emergency attacker, but he's a versatile too, so you can move him into the front row, but I prefer using him as a booster nowadays. He's been serving really well, making like 28k columns with Tile Assault and things like that, so I really started preferring him as a booster. But if I need to move him up as an attacker, he can do that, to take out front rows and on the Excel circle, if I need something there as well, he provides a really nice boost, 23k with Maelstrom's attack. And then Theo, I'm going to actually make a video on Theo. Theo is such an important card to the deck. Training your opponent that his 8k actually matters, because, being able to change a 25k and a 33k is an extra shield of guarding that the opponent is probably not ready for, or that they don't want to expend, which hurts them later on down the road. And then this 8k that he can give is, can get pretty annoying, but for us, it actually, lets us break certain thresholds and also create a lot better columns. And I started using him, making sure, obviously you want him behind your Vanguard first and foremost. Because a lot of people don't value him at first, but you train them on valuing him, and then you can start forcing them to make bad guarding decisions, or start guarding your turns a whole lot more, because obviously they are, more worried about Maelstrom's skill going off than you, the Aqua Force player, generally are. But again, I'm gonna make a video on Theo, because I want to show you guys how we can, train our opponents and make him a lot better than what he seems to be. For Lazarus, simple, staple, just a solid card overall. For Algos, love my SP shinies, and we're getting Nicholas, which is the Algo Searcher in the next set. So obviously you're definitely gonna have to play 4. And then for Tidal Assault, I'm also gonna make a video on the interaction between Algos and Tidal Assault, because I know there's a huge misconception of they always fight for the first battle and things. And what people don't understand is that Aqua Force is not a toss your hand out, rush them down type of deck. It kind of looks that way, but we are actually more of a mid-range tempo type of deck. We have a lot of smaller pokes that lead up to, one big wave that lead up to a big attack. We have to tempo our plays and set the pace. And a lot of times I don't call them out both on the field at the same time, but if they are on the field at the same time, you want to put them in position to do well. You want to position them to where they're not fighting for the first battle and it's not a detriment to your offensive turn or your attack patterns. But I'm going to make a video on that because I believe that there's a huge misconception between both of them. One, being on the field at the same time. Two, being in the deck in general. But these two are amazing. They're staple. I don't believe that, you could successfully run Aqua Force without them. Then grade 3s, 2 Riptide. We all know who he is. Solid card overall. But you don't want to ride him. 3 Navel Gazer. Navel Gazer, obviously he's my backup ride in the deck. He is decent in certain matchups and certain scenarios, but it's not exactly the most ideal in more matchups, especially for my extensive play testing, tournament play live. It's a lot of times, I need to, you really need to get to Maelstrom. That plus 3K from, obviously my boy Maelstrom. Obviously, that 3K is extremely important in a lot of matchups, turning your Algos and Tidal into 12Ks that can poke out intercepts, especially against Excel and Protect. That 12K, is damage on the Vanguard as well, and that's just annoying attacks that you can still swing at them. And if you get out a 15K shield to block one of those attacks, a 10K shield, that's a win-win right there. But he's also amazing. There's also plenty of different ways to use him. At first, I didn't like him as much, but when I started playing with the deck more, learning what he's been asking for, how I should play the deck, structure the attack patterns and things like that, I've grown to appreciate him a whole lot more. Since his skill is totally different than what it was years ago. This guy is our main ride, and I can't wait for Glory Maelstrom to come out. Can't wait to see the interaction between both of them. But yeah, this guy is definitely fantastic. And like I said, the opponent will always value your restand more than you do. The restands for like filtering purposes, clean up your hand, and possibly checking extra triggers. But it's also a damage on board, which you do need to recognize. But yeah. Again, I have some other videos that I'm going to make, following up this deck profile, because there are some misconceptions and things I do want to clean up with you guys. But otherwise, that's a deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy it, and see you in the next video. Cardfight King, baby. Aqua Life, and we out.